This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs the Playbook, and we are going back to real estate. We had Ryan Serhant. Now we are going Keven Stirdivant.
Man, that's it, brother.
At Kase Real Estate.
Thank you.
Although, Ryan came from a different background himself in construction and contract work with his dad. You came from even more hardship. Give me a little bit of a picture, because I want entrepreneurs to know that it doesn't matter where you start as long as you have the heart to come from behind and a perception to go with it.
No, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. For me, I grew up not really knowing exactly what my dad did. We just had some nice things, and went on a lot of vacations, and he would leave out of the country and come back and throw a bag of money on the bed. Right?
Cash.
I'm like, wow, cash.
Yeah.
And, around 5 or 6, we get a knock on the door and learn that Dad's going away to what my mom told me was fire school. And she told me it was fire school because when I would be seeing my dad next, it was going to be behind a glass. So because he is around so much smoke, I would be talking to my dad behind a glass for a few years. And I get into every bit of trouble from probably really 12 or 13. I became like a real life Bart Simpson, from drugs to stealing to I went to through.
Did you know when your mom told you fire school, what fire school
I knew
was?
when I was around 11, I saw this movie Scarface, and I was like, my dad wasn't a fire. And he was my hero. He passed in 2012 when he was still pretty young, about 50 years old, from his drinking and just habits. But he was, without a doubt, my hero.
Yeah.
And so when things like that happen to your hero, you start to think, well, that's how you do life, right? Like, you do things that way.
And did your dad want you to do things the same way he did them?
No, not at all. He really did his best to impress upon me. He sent me Unleash the Power Within from prison.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not reading this, But when I was 17, I think all my going crazy started to catch up with me. Like I said, I'd been through 17 different schools or so, and in 11th grade, I had skateboarding going on. I was always able to kind of sell extra things, and I got the news. I remember it was in 1 week. I had missed so much school. I was getting kicked out of school. A friend of ours was doing Freon and OD'd, and another friend of mine that I was hanging out with was pregnant, all in the same weekend. And around that 17, around that same time, my mom was trying to introduce me to some of her friends in the real estate industry. She worked for a motivational real estate company, like the leading real estate training company, C21, Berkshire, Coldwell. When you get your license, here's your phone, here's your desk, go figure it out. You need to go to places like Mike Ferry,
right.
Tom Ferry, Bob Proctor, right, to learn. And
Bob Proctor is my mentor. In fact,
I love what you were saying about the corn.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Love
That's
that,
Bob,
dude.
And we just filmed Bob Proctor and I for WGN, the World's Greatest Motivators, and to be on stage with Les Brown, Bob Proctor, Mary Morrissey.
Yeah.
As you were saying earlier, like selling $35 million homes to you, looking back when you were a kid, is like, oh my gosh. Well, for me, speaking on the same stage, being a business associate and a close friend of those people, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, and those, like, for me, that's like my perception of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in this universe, and which led us to the process of manifestation. But we'll get backwards to get to
amazing,
before we get to Manifest Prime.
It's crazy sitting across from you, having you interview me. I'm like, wait, I want to know you. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
But it was a really big eye opener to, okay, here's life over here. My buddy just passed. I'm getting kicked out of school. I'm getting in all kinds of trouble. And then on this other side, I'm about to be a father, and I'm a junior in high school. And that's
so the girl that you found out were pregnant, that's your actual girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I thought you were like a friend of yours. The friend of yours was pregnant with your baby.
It was just like, I won't get too much too far.
I get it. But a friend of yours was pregnant with your baby.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. It was scary. You literally feel like life's over. Like it's done for me. I'm never going to have fun ever again. And a friend of my mom's is named Thatch. He's been an amazing mentor to me, Thatch Nguyen. He told me about a place called Landmark Education.
Yep.
Dude, go check this place out. That place really helped me separate in my brain what was real and what was a story.
Illusion, right?
Yeah, and so that place opened up, you know what, I remember this Tony Robbins things. I remember this Zig Ziglar thing, and those guys all became my college. Dropped out of high school and got my license.
So, let's stop there for a second because I think it's really important. You had mentioned Bob Proctor and the corn.
Yeah.
Right? And, I believe, and the reason I do what I do is that I'm just planting seeds.
Yes.
Right? I'm blessed to hear all these stories. I'm blessed to live these stories myself. And I think it's so important for people like you and I to know the power of the seeds that Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Landmark, you never know 10 years, 20 years, and you still have seeds in you that when you're my age at 50, you'll say, oh my God, that's what they meant.
Yes.
Oh, and it usually comes when you're growing.
Right.
And because you're under pressure. I always say the cool thing about the seeds that people don't understand is, when you squeeze a lemon, what comes out?
Yeah, lemon juice.
Why?
Well, because that's what's inside of it.
Exactly. And those seeds are inside of you. So when you get squeezed, it's going to pressure. It's like pressure cooking those seeds. Yeah. And all of a sudden you got corn in you, corn's going to grow. What's in you is going to grow. And it's important that we as leaders and people who empower and inspire other people like yourself with the stories of coming from nothing and getting what we want from, Manifest Prime.
Yeah.
We have to plant these seeds now.
Absolutely. And I think it's, for me, growing up, I thought I was a bad seed, right? Because I got labeled from teachers, from, had influences in people being called the juvenile delinquent and things like that. And so you start to think like, this is me, and I'll never be able to do that. I could never, be a millionaire or have a dream job or my dream car or dream home. I didn't think that was in me. And I think we have to, for me, I'm inspired to help people learn who they really are, which I believe people are an unlimited space of possibility. Whatever they can think about, if they can see it, if there's something calling out at them to do something, it's not going to be easy, but that thought is there for a reason. And if I can help you fine tune that, whether that means buying your first home or your dream home or figuring out how you're going to launch this business. I spend 5% of my time helping people with business and life goals just for fun, 95% helping people with their dream house goals. It's the same thing, though.
I agree.
It's just totally the same thing.
It's interesting about others defining us and putting faith in what others think of us and taking advice of those who love us and trying to manifest a copy.
Yeah.
Right? So when we listen even to our parents and they tell us what they want for us, we don't necessarily or shouldn't put faith in what they want for us.
Yeah.
Right? We can take advice from them, from
Right.
their experience, but we want to have faith. And in fact, I tell people all the time, and this is a Landmark thing, but when somebody defines you as a juvenile delinquent, as a criminal, as a loser, as stupid, or whatever, all they've done is define themselves as someone who thinks that way. Nobody has the right, including you and me.
Yeah.
We don't have the right to define anything. We don't have that power. And so many people think, for whatever reasons, that others have the power to define us.
Yeah.
We have the power to define us. We cannot allow people to steal our joy.
Right.
And people like you are living proof that you can't define Keven. You define him.
Yeah.
Right? You define him. And so where did this breakthrough happen? The seeds are growing now. So whatever power you're surrounding yourself with, your mom's inspirational side, the Tony Robbins stuff comes back up. Landmark somehow lands in your lap.
Yeah.
But you did something with it. Those things are around all the time. So these seeds are there. What'd you do? Where's the Goya side of it? Get off your ass.
I love that, man.
Happen, right?
I love that. My major shift would say occurred in 2011. So in 2011, because I've known and practiced these things heavily since 1999. I started calling myself a life coach in 98, 99, which is kind of funny. I was 17, 18.
Nice.
Yeah. But it really started to shift in beginning of 2012. My best friend in the world, his name is Jonas Bavakwa. He started a clothing company called LRG. He passed away. Memorial Day, and that just rocked me. I mean, I'd never experienced anything like that, let alone be there in the same room. And then my dad got sick shortly after that, and he passed. So I lost the two very, very close male figures in my life. And then at that same time, I had my firstborn daughter. And it was just another one of those moments where it was like I felt like I was being split right in the middle of who are you? And my wife and I also split up at that same time, February 2012. And so I had 90 days to really not blame anybody, right? I think when you're in a relationship, it's easy to blame this person. And for 90 days, I was just looking at myself in the mirror like, dude, what are you doing? And in that 90 days, I did a lot of talking to my mentor, Thatch, and I came up with this idea for a company called Kase, which was a company that would really change the game in real estate and be something that I felt was really missing, and something that I just was inspired about, that focus on action sports, streetwear, that focus on a certain style of architecture, and that focus on modern coastal real estate. I had sold one home above $1 million when I came up with that vision. And then I just got to work. Unfortunately, by the end of 2012, my wife had not been swooped up by anybody, thank God, and she was still waiting for me, and we got married later that year. I went into 2013 like a bat out of hell, with a strong foundation in what I practiced, the 7 equities: mental, physical, spiritual, family, social, business, and money. And 2013, it just...
Where'd you derive those 7 equities?
I think from a mix of Jack Canfield and Zig Ziglar, right? Nice. You hear 6, some say 7, some say 8, and I've kind of said, these are the 7: mind, body, soul, family, friends, business, money.
Yeah.
And 2013, it was just boom. 2014 was my first year kind of developing a team, and then 2015 we sold $100 million in real estate, and we've sold $1 billion since then. And
how many people on your team?
17.
Nice.
So we're number 3 in Orange County, and we're half the size. And so we are the fastest growing team to the top 5, and the trajectory since 2015 has definitely been faster than any competitors.
And so, it's interesting because real estate people think is a dead profession in the sense that, what nothing new can be happen. I got, my boy Ben Anderson next door doing Homeowner Now to try to get millennials to understand real estate and how that is all happening. But it's interesting that, as you were soul searching, as you were finding the power within, you came up, as you said, with what the market needed.
Yeah.
Tell me what that message that came to you was. What did the market need at that time? Because obviously you were right.
To be totally upfront, I don't think it was so much what the market needed. It was more like, what do I need right now? It wasn't like, how can I save the world?
Yeah.
It was like, how can I save myself? I didn't have anything. I was totally broke. I didn't own a home. I wasn't, my dad just passed. I didn't have anything to leave my kids. Going into 2012, I was seriously looking at a life insurance policy that I had and what my family would get if I just ended it all.
Yeah.
I had nothing. And 3 kids. and my lady and I split up. Who am I?
Yeah.
And I had to say, what my mentor asked me, he said, if you could have it anyway, what would it look like? And that was really powerful because I got into real estate at 18 just to survive. I had never looked at what would my dream company look like.
Right.
And I said, dude, if I could be the dude in action sports and streetwear culture, because that was my community, skateboarding and fashion, and if I could focus on modern and mid-century modern, and if I could mix real estate with personal development, so it's not just this salesy thing, how can I mesh those two worlds? And then the vision was formed, and then it was just about the Goya process, right?
Right.
Get off your ass.
Yeah. And you did it, though.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because I tell people all the time, why do we ask people that question? If you could have, I think the biggest tragedy or difficulty that we have is nobody's asking big.
Right.
And why I wanted to have you on the Playbook is that you asked really big, and what happens with the universe is, it clothes our ideas.
Yes.
Right? If you don't have it, it can't clothe it.
Right.
Right. The universe will clothe what you have.
Love that,
pragmatic
man.
surrounding to that, permeation of your true inspiration.
Yeah.
That comes through you for others. Now, interesting enough, though, a lot of people have good ideas.
Right.
Right. A lot of people have good ideas, but they don't know how, with no money, 3 kids, separated if not already divorced, right?
Yeah.
About contemplating suicide, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I was lucky because my wife scared me straight, and I had tons of money. My problem, it was like, I always tell people, when I lost everything, when I hit that bottom that you're talking about, I was already on a spiritual trajectory of being, I already had that. So it was a different nuance for me than other people. I'm always interested, okay, so it's great that you have this idea like everybody else that lost everything and is broke. But like for me, when I lost everything, I created a direct trajectory, and I stopped messing around. Right. I said, all right, what's my direct trajectory to making shitloads of money?
Yes.
And so I just sat there for hours thinking, okay, who do I know? How can I make money off of this guy? Who do I know?
Yes.
Right. When it wasn't about empowerment.
Totally.
For me. It was survival mode.
Same here. I went like, I need to get some paper. Right. I need to get my money right.
Yeah.
And I looked
at 3 kids and a pregnant wife when I lost everything.
And I'm looking at how do you make $1 million at this thing? I knew all these people from all these seminars. They made $1 million. What's it going to take for me to make $1 million? I wasn't thinking about how I was going to build a legacy. Yeah. There was a little bit of that, but it was more of like, can I make it in this thing? And so I came up with 5 basic things that I felt would get me to $1 million within 5 years.
Nice.
Right? And I had nothing. I literally maybe $1,800 to my name.
Right.
But I knew that I had a skill set to succeed in real estate. I knew what worked. It wasn't about figuring out some online algorithm or some drip campaign. Yeah. I'm a hardcore prospector. So that means picking up the phone and knocking doors. And I came up with 5 things. Step 1, get at the office at 8 a.m. Hello. Real estate offices are a graveyard at 8 a.m. I'm getting to the office at 8. And at this point, it was me by myself. It was my little sister was my assistant when I could pay her. Let me get to the office at 8. Let me make 20 calls in the morning, 20 cold calls in the morning. I have a system. Number 3, 10 lead follow-up calls. 10 lead follow-up calls. Gotta, the fortune is in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Right? 4, knock on 50 doors a day. I was never a door knocker. I am a trained Jedi on the phone, because on the phone you can be anybody.
Right.
Scared to death of door knocking.
Todd Herman, alter ego, right? On the phone you can have an alter ego.
Yeah,
it's harder. Doors,
oh,
right?
Man.
Yeah, no
my
alter
training
ego.
Was all the phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to do this. I got to hit it from all angles. 50 doors a day, 1,000 doors a month.
Nice.
And then number 5 is this seller visit process, just getting in front of people who have their hand up. And I did that 12, 13, 14, and 2015 was the crazy just breakthrough year. It's like they say, do what nobody else wants to do for the next 5 years, and you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life.
Take that gold right there. I think there's one more thing that I've learned, and people know this about me, and I think they're figuring about you. We're math guys.
Yeah.
Right? Do what other people won't do.
Right.
But do the math.
Totally.
Like, I talk about, maybe you've heard, when I made my first $1 million, I'm like, my plan was at $250 a year.
Right.
But I worked 10 years and 9 months.
Yes.
I worked 10 years of productive, same exact way that you just did. I mean, I went down to the math of like, 8 hours, how am I going to be 16 hours productive?
Right.
Right. For me, it was wake up at 4 a.m.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All those hours made me way more productive. Then I said, how can I be efficient? Figured like you did, all these efficiencies. But that last piece of statistical success, most people don't do the math. Like, I love the fact off the top of your head, you're like, if I did that, it was, 1,000 this. For me, it was like 56 days a week I worked. I worked 56 days a week.
Wow.
Because I said, most guys are doing 10 appointments. Yeah. I'm doing 40. And even if I close half as many, I'm doing twice as much.
There you go. And I broke it down to 400 contacts to a deal. I'm like, wow, 400 contacts to a deal. If I want to do at least 3 deals a month, that means I need to make at least 1,200 contacts a month. And so I wanted to shatter that goal. So just on knocking doors, I did 1,000 doors a month.
Yeah. Last question,
Yes.
I have to get there.
Absolutely,
we're a little bit
man.
over in time, but it's well worth it.
Thank you.
So I'm an acceleration and growth guy.
Yeah.
And there is no overnight successes. I want everybody, last question, to know year one, right? You broke through in year 3.
Yeah.
Year 1, what did you do? Meaning money-wise, like percentage-wise of where you wanted to be.
Well, I made 275.
Yeah.
In year 1.
25%, 27% of the way there.
Yeah.
That's a big point because people, they quit.
Yeah.
Right? They quit because it takes so much effort. If you're only 27% of the way there after year 1, but it became exponential, right? It went from 27
275, 310, 725, $1 million.
And now it's doubling and tripling
Yeah.
because you're hockey sticking it. Do you still do the same thing besides teach others?
100%.
Yeah.
I took a listing this morning, right? I'm taking another listing later, and then I'm door knocking probably 45 or so doors. And
You gotta come to my neighborhood, man. They need you.
dude, here's the
good
thing
place.
too. If I discover, and this is what people always ask me, why do you still do that? I do it because I enjoy the process of it. So if I discover, like, we're working on a TV show, I strongly believe we're going to get it. When we get that TV show, my phone's going to be ringing off the hook. I'm still going to be knocking doors.
Yeah.
Because I believe in the process. I know it works, and I love the challenge of it. I'm not looking for some quick fix. I love the struggle.
Yeah, we got Keven Stirdivant here, Kase Real Estate.
Thank
and I'm
you,
telling
man.
you, he's a classic example of
Thank you,
someone
dude.
who enjoys the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of his potential. And he has not nearly come close to his potential from rock bottom to the top of Orange County real estate market.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the Playbook. Dave Meltzer here with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.